What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Inside Man United. My name is Rowan Brennan, and this is the preview to Manchester United against FC Copenhagen. It's a must-win game, a very important game, and what kicks off a run of two games that could really define United's season, both in terms of morale around the club and in terms of Ten Hag's ability to lead this team. However fair or unfair that might be, if we do not get a result against Copenhagen, we're effectively out of the Champions League. And with Manchester City, the game to be coming up afterwards with our injuries and our form, I don't think anyone with their head screwed on could realistically be able to think we can get anything out of a game with Manchester City at the moment, given the current form of both of those teams. So a very important match coming up tomorrow. Players rested against Copenhagen. Hopefully a new lineup of personnel, new people coming back from injury. So United against Copenhagen. This is the preview. What's going to be the lineup? Who are the key danger men for Copenhagen? Let's get into it. Manchester United welcome FC Copenhagen to Old Trafford today with a season-defining game. If we win this, we're in with a shout of actually qualifying. If we don't, a draw simply won't do. We need to win this game. We need to get 3 points on the board. If we don't, we can essentially kiss the Champions League goodbye, and we could get dumped into the Europa League. However, the way we're going, we mightn't even get third to get into the Europa League. So a very, very important game coming up. It seems that Ten Hag was resting players for the Sheffield United game. Some players just simply weren't available. Casemiro wasn't available. Reguilon, who we thought might be able to come back, he wasn't chosen. Varane not chosen. So it would seem that Ten Hag understands the brief and knows that the Copenhagen game was far more important than the Sheffield United game, and brought in players that he knew weren't even first or second choice, but could maybe do a job, and to give those most important players an opportunity to rest up and make sure that they're ready for this game. Those players primarily being Casemiro. However, given how Amrabat played, there's no guarantee that he's going to be getting into the team. And to be honest, given how he's played, I don't think he has warranted a place in the team at the moment, especially with Amrabat having done so well against Sheffield United. Harry Maguire having a man-of-the-match performance, although I thought Amrabat deserved that. But Harry Maguire putting in a very solid performance against Sheffield United. The only way they got that goal was just a silly counter-attack from a Bruno Fernandes long ball, hitting a Hollywood pass minutes after we'd scored. I wouldn't say against the run of play, but we weren't exactly deserving of a goal. It was a pretty stale game, especially in the first half. But Bruno, we have this habit of of conceding very soon after we've scored. This has been a huge problem with us across many games through a lack of concentration, a lack of game management. Now, Bruno Fernandes, he even his biggest fans are starting to kind of turn a corner right now. I put a short up the other day of me kind of questioning Bruno Fernandes, and someone replied saying, "Bruno, are you mental?" As if he's this untouchable force. Bruno got 8 goals and 8 assists last season, which is a pretty average to not so good return for a player playing as the number 10 for Manchester United. We didn't score a lot and we didn't create a lot last season. We should be thankful for how well Rashford did. But the season before that, Fernandes got 10 goals and 7 assists. Again, not bad, but not great. Certainly not the world-beating form we saw in a second season at United, where it was something like 28 goals and 14 assists or something. It was crazy. Now, I don't expect that form to be replicated. But this idea that Bruno Fernandes is this untouchable spectre at United, for me, is frankly bullshit. And people need to start taking the rose-tinted goggles off. Yes, he can have these amazing moments and play well. A lot of very good footballers can. We need a captain that can try and address the issues within this team. As soon as we score, yet again, I think for the 9th time this season, we conceded within 6 minutes of scoring a goal. For the 9th time this season, so far, we're not even into November, and we've conceded 9 times within 6 minutes of scoring a goal. That is absolutely unacceptable, and it's down to the captain, who is Bruno Fernandes, to ensure that doesn't happen. Within minutes of us scoring in the tip-off, we have the ball. We have 2 United players against 4 Sheffield United defenders. And Bruno decides to play a Hollywood ball, 40-yard pass up the pitch to 2 of our players against 4 Sheffield United players. And it doesn't hit its man. This is minutes after us going up. If anything, we should be given a brief. When we score, do not concede. Keep the ball. The onus is on Sheffield United to score. If we have the ball, they can't do that. Control the game. Calm heads. Everybody relax. And it's up to our captain to do that. And Bruno was not good. He did get an assist, but he wasn't great for a majority of the game. Same with McTominay. Scored a goal. Wasn't great for a majority of the game. Bruno Fernandes, we need more from him. Now, clearly he's going to play against Copenhagen in such a vital game, but he needs to get his shit together. And a lot of players didn't play well and covered themselves in glory against Sheffield United. One of those is Marcus Rashford. He needs to get his ass in gear and start replicating some sort of form. He looked quite unmotivated. His body language wasn't good. He wasn't effective. He's just not warranting a place in the starting 11. And with such an important game, it'll be interesting to see how Ten Hag selects this team, because you can't pick players based on sentiment, and you can't pick players based on, well, they're the big player, I have to play them. He's shown form for dropping big players, whether it's selling De Gea, dropping Maguire, selling Ronaldo. Rashford next in the firing line, and I think he needs to be dropped for this game. He has done nothing to warrant a place in this starting 11. So a big task ahead for United and a big reshuffle required. So our form coming into this game hasn't been great. We were unconvincing against a Sheffield United team who has got 1 point in their last 5 games, a draw. Their previous 4 games have been a loss. And United were unconvincing and did everything they could to kind of fuck that game up by conceding a penalty so soon after scoring, and players like Bruno putting us under unnecessary pressure. And the thing is, the juice is not worth the squeeze with Bruno. Even when he's scoring and maybe getting some assists, the amount of times Bruno Fernandes puts that team under pressure in areas of the pitch he doesn't need to is unbelievable. So I'm just asking, even the biggest Bruno fans, just keep an eye on Bruno and see what he does. See how many wasteful balls he creates. And it's okay to be wasteful in the final third. I expect there to be a 10, 15, 20% success rate when you're in the final third. But it's not dangerous to lose it in the final third. We can still track back. Bruno loses it in our half. He loses it in the midfield. He loses it when players are out of position. And he needlessly gives the ball away when we don't need to. And we need him to be a captain and a leader and to realise when we need to slow things down, to not take risks, to just calm everything down, keep the ball, move it around, and put the onus on the other team to get the ball back off us. The amount of times the team score from us from unforced errors is fucking criminal, and it needs to stop. And Bruno Fernandes is one of the key culprits. So come at me in the comments if you need to, but it's unacceptable. And he needs to get his shit together, and so does Rashford. In terms of the lineup, Andre Onana needs to start. Played well against Sheffield United, made some good saves, kept us in the game, and deserving of a start. It looks like Sergio Reguilon is going to be coming back. I think he was kind of wrapped up in cotton wool a little bit. Lindelof obviously deputising for him in his absence against Sheffield United, but it's safe to say Reguilon will be a welcome addition for that left-hand side. And maybe that's what Rashford is lacking. He doesn't have Luke Shaw, bombing up and down and creating kind of 1-2s with him, overlaps, allowing him to cut in, creating space. But again, you can't blame Shaw's absence on Rashford's performance. It can be a contributing part, but again, it doesn't explain his downturn in form. So Reguilon coming in, could this kind of reinvigorate what Rashford can do on the left? I can't see Ten Hag dropping Rashford for this game, even though I think he should. So I think he will start. But for me, that's going to be someone else on the left-hand side. So Reguilon coming in, much needed impetus and attack on that left-hand side. So he's going to be starting on the left. Dalot, again, with an absolute screamer to save the day against Sheffield United. Such a well-taken goal, and great to see him getting on the score sheet. And yet again, defenders combining for Manchester United to get us on the score sheet and to get us results that we're struggling to get. Our forward players are just not contributing. We had Wan-Bissaka with Varane against Wolves. We've had Dalot again at one stage during this season scoring a goal. We had Lindelof setting up Dalot for his goal against Sheffield United. So our defenders and our kind of fringe players, defenders, are coming in and helping us out. Even McTominay coming in with 3 goals in his last 2 games. I would still drop him despite his goals. he still wasn't good against Sheffield United. So Dalot on the right, Reguilon on the left. I would be bringing in Harry Maguire. It's either Harry Maguire or Johnny Evans for this game. And to be honest, actually, I'm going to change that. I'm bringing in Johnny Evans to play alongside Raphael Varane, just because I think he's got a little bit more intelligence than Harry Maguire. It's a bit of a toss-up between Maguire and Evans. To be honest, I think Maguire, given his man of the match performance, will get the nod. So, okay, I'll change it again. Harry Maguire in beside Raphael Varane in the centre-back positions. I think that's what's going to happen. In midfield, I would have Amrabat finally playing in the position that he's best at. Casemiro just coming back from injury, having not been playing that well this season. I would be bringing in Hannibal Mejbri into partner Amrabat. I think that brings a lot of grit, a lot of power, a lot of ground coverage. There'll be a lot of running between those two. Mejbri covers an insane amount of ground, and so does Amrabat. They both always usually cover the most amount of ground in every game that they play. And with Amrabat's statistics in his last game, his forward play, his long balls were 100%. I think he had 6 long balls out of 6, won all his duels, won everything. His statistics were incredible. So Amrabat to anchor the midfield as the number 6, but of course getting forward and playing as a number 8 if and when he can. Hannibal Mejbri for me coming in with his youth, energy, exuberance, tenacity, grit. He'll be covering a lot of ground, and I think we need that to provide a little bit of stability in the middle of the park, especially with the likes of Reguilon and Dalot bombing forward to try and help out those wide players. We will need defensively minded ground covering runners in the middle of the pitch to help chip in and defend the two centre backs if and when that's required. Of course, Bruno is going to start. Hopefully with Mejbri and Amrabat doing what they do, it'll allow Bruno to be further up the pitch and to take those risks that we like him to take, but further up the pitch. And hopefully he can get these forward players into positions where they can score because it's been badly needed and our guys are just misfiring. On the right-hand side, I would be starting Mason Mount. Again, I think we need his energy, his tenacity. He's always come in from the left, but he has been swapping wings with whatever player he's been playing with when he's taken up those wide positions, and I'd like to see him do that again. He also combined very, very well with Mejbri against Palace a few weeks ago, and I'd like to see those two combining once again to see what they can do on that right-hand side, and allowing Mount to get over onto the left-hand side as well. Garnacho for me starts on the left. Again, a right-footed player. He can swap wings. Mount does like to play left. Garnacho is a right-footed player. I think the two of them could cause chaos, swapping each wing with each other, but I think Garnacho has to get the nod ahead of Rashford. Rashford has done nothing to warrant a place in that team. Garnacho looked lively against Sheffield United. Hopefully he's ready to come on and take his chances and to perform well from the starting whistle. We know how well he's done coming on as an impact substitute. He hasn't done the best when he's been given a chance to start, but he needs to be given more chances. And sure as shit, he can't do any worse than Marcus Rashford has. So for me, Garnacho gets the nod on the left-hand side. Of course, Højlund is going to get the nod up front. He's been very good even in the games when he hasn't been scoring. He's been running around a lot. He's been creating space. I think the wide players and our forward players have been letting him down and not creating the opportunities that he's deserving of. He's been creating space, getting into good positions, but our players just don't seem to be seeing him. So, of course, Højlund is going to get the nod. So that's how I'd have them lined up. 4-3-3, Mount on the right, Garnacho on the left, Højlund up front, Bruno behind, Amrabat and Mejbri anchoring that midfield. Reguilon on the left, Dalot on the right, hopefully bombing up and down those wings with the two midfielders coming in to offer a little bit of protection when we do have the ball getting into those more forward positions. With Varane and Maguire, we'll settle on Maguire for those centre-half positions, and of course Onana at the back. The danger men for Copenhagen, there's a couple of players that we need to keep an eye on. So let me just get my notes up here. So two of the key danger men would be Diogo Gonçalves, a Portuguese player. He is playing as a midfielder there. In 10 starts, he's got 5 goals, and he seems to be one of the big hitters for Copenhagen. Their strikers, they haven't been overly potent in the Danish league at the moment. Jordan Larsen with 11 starts and 1 goal. And we have Oscarson with 10 starts and 2 goals. So only 3 goals between them. But it really is their midfielders. That's another reason why I want Mabry and Amrabat in this midfield. There's a lot of chaos going on with Copenhagen's midfielders. There's a lot of goals there. Rooney, that's Rowony. Rooney Bargy, 11 starts, 6 goals. A very potent player, and he's got 6 goals from 6 shots. And with Gonçalves as well, I think he's got 5 goals in 5 shots. So their accuracy is pretty good. They're very potent. They've been the ones chipping in with the majority of the goals. So the real goal threat, not coming up front for Copenhagen, but in those midfield positions. So they are the 2 key danger men for this game that United need to keep an eye on, and hopefully our players can do that. My prediction for the game, I think it's going to be tight. I'm going to go with 2-1. Once again, we're so leaky, whether it's conceding needless penalties, getting caught on the break, players out of position, just little slip-ups. United have been so leaky at the back, and there's no way you can expect them to keep a clean sheet in a game this important. I expect Copenhagen to be coming out all guns blazing, and they're certainly going to be trying to get those midfielders into positions to take their chances and get some goals. So I'm going to remain optimistic. We have to win this game, so I'm hoping it's going to be Manchester United 2, Copenhagen 1, and hopefully Højlund and Garnacho can get on the score sheet. It'd be good to see Bruno score as well and get his international form translated onto the Old Trafford pitch. So what do you guys think? Would you agree with that lineup? Do you think Rashford should start? Should Casemiro come in and finally have that partnership with Amrabat, or just coming back from injury and not playing well? Should he be kept on the bench and giving Mabry a chance to shine, as he has done so well when he's been given his opportunities? What do you think? Leave it in the comments. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in. Hit that like button, hit subscribe. Thank you very much for joining in. And it's Tuesday, 8 o'clock, Manchester United against Copenhagen. Enjoy the match, and I'll see you on the next one.